During the worst of the economic downturn, Ford chose to keep the doors of its Chicago assembly plant open. After cutting its second shift and hundreds of jobs with it for the first time since 1964, the automotive giant reinvested in 2010. It added new products like the next generation Explorer, pumped massive resources into revamping the Southside facility, and this month brought in $100 million worth of quality control robotics technology. But the biggest product of the reinvestment may have come in the form of labor. Not only did the plant add 750 workers in the fourth quarter of 2010, but it was able to save itself future headaches in the process. Many of the unionized workers that were bought out when the second shift was cut were baby boomers, longtime Ford veterans, and part of what's projected to be a 65% growth locally in people over the age of 65 over the next 20 years. Had they retired en masse as expected, the plant would have been left with a huge hole in its labor force and a lack of available skilled labor to fill it.
20 years ago, you had a very stable kind of workforce that you hired large groups and chunks, where you may have a very senior workforce.
Plant manager Jen Ullman says while it's difficult to consider the economic downturn a blessing in disguise, removing the shift provided an opportunity to prepare the plant's workforce for the future. Thanks to a new contract with UAW that allowed for lower wages, the plant could hire a more even distribution of ages to man the factory floor.
As the whole industry downturn, we shrunk our organization, and that did have a lot of retirement. So that has really kind of leveled that playing field.
This is another way of handling a manpower shortage.
UIC labor studies professor Robert Bruno says investment in new technology like Ford's new robotics complements a manufacturing labor force that is age diverse and does not automatically replace jobs.
When you introduce all of this really advanced technology, you underestimate the real integration of that technology with humans. The thought that you will be able to work dramatically leaner, that you won't actually have to hire again, that you don't have to think about human beings is a mistaken view.
Bruno says that while diversifying the plant workforce will help fill the gap left by the roughly 2.7 million manufacturing workers who will begin retiring in the next 10 to 15 years, according to a recent estimate, a new labor issue could surface in the type of worker manning the automotive line.
There are these new workers who are going to be computer savvy, and so they're going to come in with probably a higher entry-level knowledge base. At the same time, they're going to have higher expectations for the work. You know, this isn't just Henry Ford's workshop where you sort of do the work of your beast of burden. It raises a serious question whether the Ford brand can be done the Ford way. Because instead of having 50,000 Ford employees, you have 50,000 entrepreneurs. I'm not sure Ford really wants that.
For now, sales of the Explorer are soaring, posting higher numbers nationally in May than any month in nearly 4 years, with 2011 numbers already set to pass all 2010 sales this month. It's welcome news to a Chicago plant that's driving forward with a future-ready workforce and an eye toward investment in a 21st century assembly line.
We're in a growing state versus a shrinking state, so that is bringing in a lot of new people. So that's really what we do today, is take that technology and really train our people to that level of technology so that we give that flawless execution.